Hello, hello. Welcome to Brewed in Monmouth, the real estate tea with Kate. And as always,
I'm Doreen. Thank you for joining us again.
we are so excited today to have the two founders of Nicholas Creamery, Nicholas Harary, Nicholas Harary, and Jodie Edwards. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how the summer season is ramping up at Nicholas Creamery this year.
It's already off to a big bang.
Does it ever stop?
It doesn't seem like
it's
it
a
does.
year-round season.
Yeah, we opened our sixth store about a month ago now, and so that already gets us going pretty good.
Yeah.
And so it's record-breaking days every weekend now.
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
That is fantastic. So you opened up your first store you opened up in the Atlantic Highlands in what year?
2018.
2018, wow. And now you have 6 stores. And it's Atlantic Highlands, Middletown, Fairhaven,
Tinton Falls, Long Branch, and Wall Township.
And you just did Wall. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
So we had a little thing in there in around 2020.
Yeah.
That slowed us down a little bit.
That
slowed us down a little bit. And then last year, we kind of really maxed out our production. So that's why there was no store opened last year. It's the first time we did that other than the COVID year. So we had to redevelop our production facility, make it larger, capacity bigger, because we didn't want to not be able to
supply.
Yeah.
Because you are a small batch.
We're small batch. We don't have
which makes the ice cream so special.
Yeah. So, we'll sell out of flavor. That's okay because we'll make a certain amount and then that'll be it if it's very popular. Yeah. But we don't
like the chocolate Dubai. That was the best flavor in the world.
What flavor?
The chocolate
Dubai. Oh. It happens a lot with our local collaborations too. These past 3 weeks we've done. The first week we did Rook. Second week we did Mueller's Bakery. We did their crumb cake. And then we just did Joe Leone's cannoli. And each one, within 2-3 days, we sold out. That I think people are still getting the idea of the super small batch. When we have these really special flavors, they go really quick. Even though we're producing so much, people are just lined up. It's incredible.
There's like a raspberry or there was a berry one you did quite a few years ago, and I missed out on it by it was like 1 day's worth, and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I don't even remember what flavor it was. It was in the Fairhaven store, so it was a while ago, but they do. And I think doing local collaborations like that is so unique and so special.
It really is.
That's Jodie's specialty.
Oh, was it? We got to get you to do a collaboration with DeMarco's. I don't know what we could do there, but we'll come up with something.
We will. It's
the meatball ice cream.
Meatball vodka sauce, something. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
The amount that we can make is dictated by the people we're collaborating with on that. If we had Joe Leone's, that's not the instance with them, but we get this much cannoli cream from them. That's
how much?
How much are we going to make? Porto with their ricotta, they only have a capacity of so much, and so once in a while, someone will give us like 2 sheet pans or something like. I don't think you realize how much ice cream we make. We're making. When we did Rook the first time, we made 180 gallons. And that sold out in a day. And then on the next time, we made another 200 gallons. And then that'll be it, because Rook said, this is all we can supply you with. And that's okay. And
that's what keeps it special, too.
Yeah, that's right.
It does. We had a small pie maker. She reached out last weekend. And she's like, I want to do something with you guys so bad. And I said, really, it's being respectful to you. I realized for her team, if she would make enough what we needed to put in our ice cream, that would be she's only one little bakery. That would be a day worth of working for her. And so what's happened as we've grown, we started working with these small businesses to give them more exposure.
Sure.
But slowly it's become, we're just trying to be respectful because we realize the workload it will put on them if we would, it's up to them ultimately whether they would want to do it or not. But,
But that's a great way to pay it forward too, to try to help out smaller businesses, give them, because you have amazing marketing, all thanks to Jodie too, right?
Yeah.
And the product, of course. So that's really nice to be able to just pay it forward. I don't know how else to say it. I think it's nice.
If your goal is to have one store almost every year, when do you max out on that? When are you ever going to have, you'll only have Nicholas in Wall? I can't even think of what would be special to Wall. The Circus Drive-In, but that's gone now. But could you only do it in the Wall store, or the Fairhaven store, Tinton Falls? Or?
It's too hard because of the marketing and the way social media works now to only say one store. It just doesn't work like that at this point. It gets too confusing. People get upset and angry. So we really try to make enough and just say it's super small batch. And I mean, he's totally revamped the factory that, we can do so much more and be producing so much more at this point.
Where is your factory?
3 doors
4 doors
down.
down.
I walk from our office here. It's weird that this is
right
we're
here.
friends, and
St. Paul's,
and it's just like the studio. It's kind
It
of
was hard. It was hard for you to say no.
It was just like, all right, I'll come over. I'll stay late. I'll come over.
So in terms of like opening up stores, and you have so many other businesses too that are so successful, in terms of like deciding where to have the store, when to open up a store, like what are those deciding factors as a business owner?
Well, first is they have to be a distance apart from our other stores. So that's a key factor. We want density. If we're in Tinton Falls, but we're right on the border of Colts Neck, Tinton Falls. Yeah. And what's the other town? There's another town there that we're right
Shrewsbury.
Tinton Falls is just so
There you
huge,
go.
yeah.
And we really love Colts Neck, but the density in Colts Neck just doesn't work for us. So right there, and we can get all those markets. So Tinton Falls is a unique store in that the one in Middletown is in a Saker ShopRite, and that's one of the busiest ShopRites in the company. And it's probably no coincidence the one on Wall is right next to Saker ShopRite, and that's their busiest store.
Okay.
Got to bring your
Every
walking
summer.
shoes when you're in there. My God, it's like football fields, pump football fields,
Yeah.
and groceries.
This is the wool one right on Route 35?
34. They have 2 of them.
Okay.
The other one, that one's like it's Wall, but they call that the Belmore store, and this one's called the Manasquan store.
Okay.
So we're obviously looking for density. We're interested in people who are a little bit more educated customer, somebody who wants a higher quality product. Our first ingredient is cream. You go to a grocery store, take a look. Nobody's first ingredient is cream.
Right.
Ours is. There's no corn syrup. It's all natural. All those things, they start with milk. They add different products to, make it a little creamier. We don't. We just start with pure Pennsylvania cream.
I was going to ask you, where do you get your cream from?
Yeah,
Is
they were the
local?
only ones that can keep up with us
Wow.
on it. And it comes in on a forklift.
Wow.
And
There
that's
are a lot of cows
our
though in
loading dock
Pennsylvania.
that's what we were talking about before, that we have so people will say, "Oh, I have some goat's milk," and I was like,
Yeah.
So the Atlantic Highlands store and the Fairhaven store are the 2 anomalies because those were the first. So Atlantic Highlands, really oddly enough, Fairhaven was the first store, but it opened second
After
because that mall was being renovated, and it just took so long that we said, "Nah, we're not doing it," and we picked up the idea and went to Atlantic Highlands. Although we had already designed the Fairhaven store, and we had given up that we weren't going to open the Fairhaven store. And then Atlantic Highlands, the first day we opened it, we just thought we were opening a cute little business. And after scooping for like 2 hours, Jodie and I were there, some of the high school kids that were with us, and a customer came in and said, "Nicholas, this line's insane." I go, "How much longer is it?" Because my arm was beginning to hurt.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I think you better go outside." And I went outside, and they were directing traffic.
It was amazing.
Because
my
the lines were straight. The lines were, going over the side streets. It went all the way to Carton Brewery, which
my
is, I
gosh.
think, maybe at least a quarter
What
mile
month
down the road.
did you open up?
We opened May.
May.
Wow.
Memorial Day
It was
Friday.
Memorial Day weekend. Yeah.
So that was when we were like, oh, and then all of a sudden that landlord in Fairhaven was like, oh, we want you. And then we did it. So those 2 stores are the closest together because we didn't really think. Jodie lives in Fairhaven. I live in Atlantic Highlands. So it was just like, okay, let's open these. And then that was it. That was all we were going to do. And obviously it went. So now they're further apart. So we're looking Freehold, Marlboro, Manalapan, Old Bridge, Brick, Toms River.
Wow.
So we're looking,
Mighty Empire.
well, we can call it that, but so we are looking to expand still, and we own the stores 100%. It's not a franchise. Stop calling me.
It's not franchising.
franchising.
No, you want to keep it special.
I have a question for Jodie.
Yes.
How do you pick the kids that work there? Because they're all the nicest kids.
They are, aren't they?
They really are.
I'll tell you, it is one thing, and he knows from the beginning, I look for a sparkle in their eye. That's what I look for. And so each kid that I interview, you can teach anyone to do anything, but you can't teach them to be a good human and have whatever that sparkle is. And that's really what I look for. Absolutely.
Yeah, ice cream is happy. You need to be happy serving it. You
Right.
need to be happy eating it. Yeah.
I tend to be the last person in there too. Like I'm always like, oh, it's 8:45 and the kids are in bed. I can get there in 15 minutes. And they never ever are mad.
I'll tell you, our team, I say it all the time, they are incredible. When you think of when he talks about the lines out the door in the summer for 3 hours, I mean, those kids, they're hustling and they're working that line. They're taking care of these customers. They're doing everything. And they're so important, and we're really lucky.
At the highest
really
standards too, with the cleanliness of the stores, obviously the way that they treat their customers.
Yeah.
They're working under, at a very, very high bar,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
They're impressive.
Yeah,
for sure.
very impressive.
For sure.
I think too, there's been a lot of success from those kids. It's not only a matter of time before I run into one in a medical field, because there's like 6 or 7 nurses, physician's assistants, and some that are on their way to be, because we opened in 18. So, but there's a couple that are going to be doctors, and there's all like one guy's aerospace engineering, wants to work for NASA. It's nuts. But I also think that it gives them a good foundation to know about. My daughter works in the store, and she's like, Dad. And I was like, I know.
Yeah, working with the public.
Hospitality,
Right.
yes.
It's no
Serving
joke.
people.
Right, and my son works at the restaurant, and he's like, Dad. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it really goes a long way.
Life lessons.
And, there's all kinds of people out there, and the kids that work for us, they know how to
Handle them.
handle it, because you see.
You find out really fast if you can
Yeah.
handle it and if it's for you and if it's not for you, for
Yeah,
sure.
you put the wrong sprinkles or too many sprinkles. I don't know. The cherry in the wrong spot. People can really go
The hot
crazy.
fudge is the one that sends people right over the edge.
Is it
really?
never
It
enough?
sends people right over the edge, and I say, if they want more hot fudge, just give it to them. It's just.
We say, though, too, no one minds standing in a line, especially for ice cream, as long as the kids are, I don't mind standing in a line anywhere, as long as they're really hustling behind the counter. And we say that to the kids all the time. And let me tell you, these kids are savvy. They want money. Like,
Yeah.
they
Sure.
really, they
Yeah,
know. They know
sure.
the harder they work, the more tips that they get. They are super savvy hustlers, and they just do a really fantastic job.
I
They
totally
really
agree
do.
with you.
And they attract like people. You know what I'm saying? Like their friends, whether it be from the school, the neighborhood, they see the clientele, they see the people that are working there, and they want to be part of it.
Well, it's one of the first things when we're looking for people is that I will text the staff and say, do you have friends who are looking for jobs? Because it's very true.
Yeah.
They all kind of
Yeah, they kind of hang out together then, right? And they support each other.
As odd as it is an experience, right? It's part of the experience, and we try to teach that we are ultimately serving ice cream, but we say we're selling smiles because it's kind of hard to frown while you're eating ice cream.
Unless you had a really bad day.
Yeah.
the ice cream will flip it right around,
but
right?
you know
They'll
what?
make you happy.
For $5 or $6, you have a moment of a celebration.
Yeah.
A little bit like, like let's go out for ice cream tonight. And it has to be part of that. And the lines and the people in the lines and how the staff treats them is indeed part of that, because we know that you can go to a grocery store and buy a pint of Ben & Jerry's. It's a good product, but why, Nicholas Creamery is a little different. And then it's the experience related to it. And I don't think you have a celebration when you have a pint.
No, that's a sad day.
That's a sad day. You're sitting in your bed by yourself, right?
That's like a little bit of the other.
Yeah.
Where, that's so the kids have to be part of that experience, which is what we.
It's really amazing though when you take store-bought ice cream and then you take your product and how yours melts because there's nothing
Weigh them.
preservatives in it.
Weigh them. We actually weigh it in our. We call it the Yum Yum Factory down the street, and we weigh them. We know.
Yeah.
So ice cream.
So many
ice cream
chemicals.
is all the ingredients in it, but the ingredient that nobody understands is the air. So we're the lowest in the industry in air. We're like down near 30% air. Some of those brands that are 100% air. And what that means is if you take a gallon of mix, the custard, whatever word you want to use, put it in the machine, they're going to get 2 gallons of ice cream out in some cases because it's 100% of it is air, so it doubles. For us, if we put a gallon of mix in, we'll get 1.3 gallons out.
Wow.
So you are getting more ice cream in the same volume. Not to mention that some brands out there, we all know a pint is 16 ounces, I think. I hope that everybody knows that. But a pint is 16 ounces. Take a look at some of those. They're not 16 ounces.
No,
they're
not.
14 ounces.
Yeah.
And we call that larger one a half gallon. It hasn't been a half gallon since like 1978. it's 64 ounces, and it's not 64 ounces, 48 ounces. A half gallon would be 64 ounces. So
I don't even look.
We call it a half gallon, but it's not.
Yeah.
So there's all these things that go into the ice cream world. It's a huge market. We're not looking to take over the market. We just have a little niche, really high quality ice cream, experience driven.
It's special.
And
it's really special.
And we make flavors that are unique. Some are weird. Some are just like collaborations, like we said, Rook and Joe Leone's recently. But there are some like the rainbow cookie that we did with Talercio's, which is like bonkers. It's bonkers when that one comes.
The cookie one?
The rainbow cookie
Italian
one.
Yes.
The Italian rainbow cookie one.
So what would you say, if you had to say, was the most surprising flavor? Like what's like, that quiet lost leader type of a flavor? Is it a vanilla chocolate, or do people not even come to you for that?
I mean, for me, the one that kind of quietly took over is the bourbon barrel aged coffee chocolate chunk. That's the one that kind of like was under the radar for so long. And it's the hardest one that we make because we have to, it's the bourbon barrels from Nicholas wines that we take, and then we age the coffee beans in them, and then the roaster roasts them, and then there's no bourbon in it, but it has that bourbon essence.
I know my son likes it, and it worries me.
Yeah, there's no
He's starting early.
There's no bourbon in it. And also, a few years back, we actually decaffeinated all the coffee.
Oh, really?
Because it's ultimately you're probably eating ice cream
Late at
later
night.
on.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
And so anyway, we make the cold brew with the bourbon barrel aged coffee, and then it goes into the cream and the whole thing. It's the hardest flavor that we make, and we've made it for a long time, and then over the last 2 years, it exploded. That everyone realized, oh man, that's the one that if you ask me which one is the quiet. The one that's the most popular is the brown sugar cookie dough.
Oh, I saw the weddings. Your marketing is so good. I saw the people who wanted it as part of their wedding. So sweet.
Did they really? I didn't see that. Oh, wow.
They sent us a save the date and the nicest letter, just saying how Nicholas Creamery has been a part of their life, and it was just. Oh my God! It was really
wow. So what did they want? The ice cream served at their wedding?
No, they didn't want anything. They just wanted us to know how much they loved us and how much they love the brown sugar cookie dough. And we get so many emails and inboxes, and the love that people have for this ice cream. I wish people could see and read what we get to see and read when it comes to this.
Wow.
It really, this sounds so cheesy, and I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it really does make you believe in the good of people too. For it's very pure, and I don't think you find that a lot in this day and age.
No, for them to take the time out to send, put it on paper or in an email, put the words together and send it to you is really very special.
Yeah.
And
how did you all become partners?
I've been with Nicholas a long time. So I've been with him for almost 15, 16 years doing his marketing and branding. And then I always bugged him about doing something together. And he was very busy, but I've nagged and nagged and nagged. I grew up working in an ice cream shop, the Jigger Shop, which is in Central PA. And I had Nicholas go one time when he was taking his kids to Hershey Park. And I was it is incredible. It's a 100-year-old ice cream shop. Lines out the door. The volume that they do is unbelievable.
And what's it called? The Jigger?
The Jigger. Jigger. Okay. It's incredible.
A Jigger is a chocolate-covered almond or a burnt almond?
Well, that's what
they say.
It is a Jigger Shop secret, so I won't be telling you. But if you spill the secret, that's on you. All right. And that was, and that's how it happened on my end. We have,
that story on how Nicholas Creamery was chosen, you'd need 3 podcasts to get through.
Wow.
But yes, that is true. I always wanted to. I try to, if in whatever word you want to use, pay back employees that have been very good and loyal, and that was the best way I can come up with it, to be like, okay, let's open a business together, and that's how that came.
And it
about.
worked.
Yeah.
And you knew each other long enough that you knew that you could work together, which is really important too when you're picking partners sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of the
demanding
businesses that I have someone in them that will be or are partners already. So that's
good. I guess you need somebody to bounce things off of, have somebody
can't
to
imagine
walk
doing
the
things
walk
alone.
with. Yeah.
I'll say it's been very successful because I feel like we are very different but very compatible at the same time as far as our skill sets and what he's good at and
The
he's
yin and the
in
yang.
his lane and I'm in my lane and I
Right.
feel like we're super respectful and
right.
like I don't know.
yeah.
You know each other, you trust each other.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
are
basis
complete
of every.
opposites, right?
Yeah.
She walks into
Black
the room,
and
wants to
white,
talk
man.
to everyone. I want to walk to the corner.
Yeah.
I'm all numbers. Everything's in my head. Like, let's go down a line. I'm very regimented in that. Jodie's very artistic and the marketing and stuff. And anytime it comes to marketing, I'm like, all right, what are you doing? Whatever.
What do you want to
If
do?
you think so, I it doesn't matter what I think. You're the marketer. And then she does the same thing with me. You should have seen me I brought my son in so he could see when we were doing the engineering for the new line at the factory. And he just looked at me and my son was like, what are you doing? And I said, trust me. And then I brought him in when it was done. He goes, you saw all this? And I said, I did. And it's not complete yet, but so that's my mind works that way. So
And mine does not.
Yeah.
At all.
No, mine either.
Yeah.
I'm very entrepreneurial. I see things and I can and I don't always act on them. I'll sometimes say something to someone about it. I'll say, hey, someone should do this.
Yeah.
I can see this. I can see this one coming. It's funny because my businesses didn't really start that way, but I had the ability to see and then capitalize on it.
Right. Like we can talk then just how you went from Nicholas to Barrel and Roost, right?
Right. I could see that coming. I did. I could see that. And everybody was like, and I remember customers telling me, I can't believe you're doing this. Nicholas was said to be one of the better restaurants in the state for 20 years. It
Most romantic, was it?
It was number one
a lot
from
of
the
different
critics
number
and
ones,
whatever.
yes.
But it was still financially very successful and all. But I can see that.
And you were right. I mean, you really were right.
I was right. And customers thought I was wrong. I remember I tell her every time she comes in, she's the sweetest woman. And she said, now, Nicholas. And she grabs my hand and she's like, I hope you're not going to take the tablecloths away. And I said to her, well, I'll make you a deal. If you don't go to Florida for 6 months and a day, I won't take the tablecloth away. She goes, well, now that I can't promise. And I said, well, either can I. And she comes in every time she spends 3 or 4 months up here and loves Barrel and Roost. It's a very different restaurant. People think we rebranded. We did not rebrand. I closed Nicholas. It does not exist anymore. And opened Barrel and Roost. And they're very different, but they have the foundation of quality in what we're doing, right? So it's a burger. It's a quality burger. Pizza, it's a quality pizza, and everything we do, we don't want to buy anything. We make our own pickles. We don't shortcut anything, and we train the staff, and then we also train them for the casualness. You see the way we dress. We wear concert shirts and different things and jeans, and it's supposed to be what it is. So we don't have an identity crisis. Every once in a while, a customer from the old days will come in and be like, "Oh, I'm surprised." And like, well, we're not.
Yeah,
We knew what we were doing. It's what, and I thank you. I think I was right. And if you can see something before other people do, then
you stay ahead of it. You
stay
went
ahead
out
of
on a high, with Nicholas,
Yeah.
and that formal, delicious, beautiful, high quality dining, and you just changed it to what you saw coming.
Right.
And the timing was great for you too, right? When you
there's
shut
so
down,
many things. And,
it was just
there's so many things.
serendipitous. It's
Look,
just
kismet.
because I'm in the wine business, and the wine business has been turned upside down right now. It's completely different post-COVID than it was pre-COVID. And the wineries in California, they have not figured it out yet. And they're collapsing one right after another at record rates.
I didn't know that. That's so interesting.
But I'm supposed to know that. It's my business.
Yeah.
You'll see. It's different. And there's going to be big changes to come. And those who adapt will be stronger and better. And that's just, I know I've said this on other podcasts, but I do truly believe this. If you're doing today, right, and you're successful, and you're doing that same thing 5 years from now, you will not be successful.
That's totally true.
it's the
Changes-
truth.
changes
It's
the
our
concept.
business too, right?
Right? Well,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I understand, right, your business has been turned on its head. I totally understand. I don't understand your business, but I understand it's been turned on its head. And I think that real estate agents are going to be very successful, the ones who figure out the new market.
Right.
And
I feel like you guys have done that too. You guys have hopped on everything that you guys are doing, marketing-wise, social media-wise,
Yeah.
where you can see some of the other agencies that might be more old school. I feel like you guys are definitely on that
We're
trajectory.
definitely trying.
Yeah.
I mean, change is hard, but we recognize the change. We saw what was happening, and you just have to embrace it and make
Yeah.
it work for you. I go into so many different situations
It's
where
amazing
people
to me how
don't.
fast people quit. People quit before it
Yeah.
even hits the pike.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. They'll say, this is coming down the line. Oh, I don't want to do that anymore. We don't even know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Well,
just-
that's what I'm saying to you. Do you really think that I'm going to start knocking on people's doors and asking them if they want to sell their home? That's not how it's going to work.
No.
So there is somewhere between the way it was and what it's going to be. And those who figure out what it is will be the successful ones. That's what I did in essence with Beryl and Roost versus Nicholas.
But the timing, my God, it was like perfect.
Because the timing, but right now is the timing in the real estate market. I don't totally understand the whole thing, but if I studied it enough, I would say these are the things I would do. But I would definitely say it's going to be a mega customer service oriented thing.
Because that's the generation that you're dealing with, right? Like the generation that liked the formal dressing at Nicholas changed a little bit. Now it's more, family oriented, or there's just a younger clientele who has different expectations. And it's the same thing with the people coming in to buy. From a price point, from what they expect, the services that they expect is just different than when we bought or our parents bought.
Yeah.
And the ones who don't understand that, it's a hard conversation. But yes, you have to adapt with everything in life.
Yes.
Just like, our kids going off to college, they have to adapt to different ways of living and learning more about themselves and
Wait until
growing.
my
It's
son
the only way
figures
we
out how
grow.
to wash his underwear.
Yeah. It's still a conversation, even with the girls. And like, it's not one huge load. It's 4 little loads. Separate before everything is just one color. But they figure it out. It's all fun. But
worried.
listen, we love having you guys here. We wish you all the best with everything. And if you have any new,
No,
things
one
up
more
your
question. I have
sleeve,
to put
let
you on
us
the
know.
spot.
Oh,
Is
yes.
Dubai chocolate ever coming back?
Oh my gosh. The
what?
The Dubai chocolate.
There was a line out the door for this. People are calling the
know.
store all the time.
I know. I'm amazed by it.
Yeah.
I don't get Dubai chocolate. Like, we did it. It was delicious. But the whole craze, it's so funny.
So good.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
all
if it'll be
driven
coming back or
by
not.
like the social media,
social
right?
media.
It's
No,
the
it's old school word of
TikToking.
mouth for me. My partner Laura
Yeah.
knows I'm a pistachio nut. Her
Oh,
husband
okay.
Kyle had gone online. He was like, "You got to get there before it's gone. It's the best thing I've ever tasted."
Have you
I only
tried our
got one.
Have you
pistachio
tried
ice
our
cream?
pistachio?
I have, and I like it,
Yeah.
but I just like the chocolate too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what you can do? You can beat the system because the chocolate that we use in that is the same chocolate that's in our chocolate chips. So order the pistachio and tell them to put chocolate chips on the bottom and the top, and then you'll be
I'm gonna do
close.
it.
Now the phyllo dough that's in that's just a textural thing. It doesn't really have a lot of flavor. That's what makes Dubai chocolate the Dubai chocolate
Okay.
pistachio. So pistachio is my favorite flavor too. So pistachio is something we care a lot about.
Great.
That's part of our old man series.
That's great to hear. I'll always have something to order.
Yeah, that's a good tip. You'll remember that one. You're probably going to be scooping a lot of it now. You're going to have to add it as a line item. But thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It was
Thank
so
you
nice
for
to
having
see you.
us.
Absolutely.
So fun.
Yeah, we're super excited for you. We wish you all the best in all your endeavors. And
This has been another episode of Brewed in Monmouth with Kate and Doreen. Please follow us on Spotify, YouTube,
yeah, YouTube,
Twitter, Facebook,
right,
and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify.
and X,
And
formerly
wherever,
known as Twitter.
wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Just follow us. That's it.